Hey guys, how's it going? Today I got this abomination here. I just threw this together in 5 minutes, so it's not the best deck list or anything. This video is here to showcase how you can win with this type of deck, where you just throw in all the good cards you have by virtue of just having better fundamentals and also by just drawing better cards, I guess, because every single card in here is really good. Um, yeah, so this is basically just some bestials because they're pretty nice. Relying on the regained for the grind game and the beast for the interruption, and also just some cash cards. Got the birth for the grind game, and then we just end on Rise Heart and the Shangri era, plus either Fenrir Unicorn. It's a medium-sized package. We're not on the scare cash or anything. We're not in the big bang. We're reducing the bricks a little bit. And then we just have a billion hand traps, maxi package for Master Duel. We have Droll because it just ends decks. Infinite Impermanence is a really solid hand trap here. And we have the Eradicator Epidemic Virus. This is just a Mimi thrust payoff, more or less. You can sack any of your Bestials for it, aside from Lubellion. And that just lets you virus your opponent for spells or traps, which is pretty funny. In the extra deck, we have Baron, because we can make it with Ash plus a cash. We have a rank 6. It doesn't really matter what this is. It's mainly just for making Zeus. I just thought this one was kind of funny. Maybe Beatrice has merit, actually, but I don't know. I don't think this one actually matters. It's just for making Zeus. We have a Big Eye. We have the guy that burns a little bit. We have a guy that can attack directly for making Zeus. Then we got some of the Shankris and the Rise Hearts. We have a Zeus, of course. And you can make the seal off of 2 Bestials, which is pretty cool. Donner to clear your monster zones for the cash cards. Azalea, because it's slightly better in some cases, but also it doesn't come up in as many cases as Donner does. And then we have a Goddess to like clear stuff that we otherwise can't get rid of. So just a bunch of good cards thrown together. Let's hop into the games and see what they're like. So in this game, we're playing against Mathmech. We don't have the most impressive board here. It's Fenrir to search a unicorn for follow-up, and we set the infinite impermanence. And now we also have the Maxi and the double Droll. So our opponent's going to lead with the Sign It Mining to get the circular. I'm just going to activate the Maxi here while we're in the part where we can chain the Droll. Since I think I probably just live with Fenrir Imperm, and Maxi just gets me a ton of advantage, so he just dies on the crackback here. Droll would kind of end turn at the same time, so that's also definitely an alternative. And this way I'm playing around, I'm having like a call by or an Ash, since Droll is still activatable in this chain, because this is the trigger condition. It's after they added a card. Now I get to use Droll, but I can chain other stuff first. So if he has like Ash, or especially if he has Call by, that plays around that as well. The Fenrir and the Imperm let me survive if he just goes for an update code line. But otherwise, Droll by itself wouldn't be enough to end his turn. So he has the Call by here. So we're just going to use the Droll and Lockbird. It's exactly what we've been playing around. And now he has the second Call by though. Sometimes your opponent's better, but sometimes you're also better, because Droll and Lockbird actually isn't a once per turn. So I can chain another Droll here. And this way, when the chain resolves here, my Droll is going to resolve and apply. And he's going to call by to negate the other Droll, which doesn't matter because Droll has already been applied. And then he call buys the Maxi, which doesn't matter because Droll has been applied and I can't draw anyways. So now he's down 2 call buys and he's under Droll. He's going to use the circular here. I'm going to chill here a little bit, let him bring this back. And now we use the Fenrir here to hit the diameter. Since this is limited to 1, this is what gets him his negate as well. This is the latest point we can like legitimately react. Because if he makes an exceed with this, he gets the negate off of diameter. But now we can use the Fenrir to just remove it for the entire game. And this is one of the few guys that's actually playing the Baguska, which really hurts this deck actually. So fortunately we have the out to it, the Imperm. And we also drew an Ash Blossom. So because we run so much non-engine in this deck, we always have a ton of it. And now we imperm it, and we know we just get to out it with Fenrir. Fenrir adds some stuff, and we just go ham on him, and he can't play the game anymore at this point. So this is good decision making on our use of hand traps, and just also drawing a lot of non-engine because we're playing a lot of non-engine. This one is also interesting. They have the max seed, and we have the Ash for. I opt to use Ash in case they have like a Droll or another hand trap I could use Call by on. I probably just played through it anyways because I have the birth already. So it probably would have been better to use Call by, since at the end of my combo I have a Rise Heart up, and Call by is dead because nothing goes to the grave because everything gets banished anyways. But this plays around them outing the Arise Heart as well, and it plays around them having like a Veiler here, a Bell, a Droll, Skullmeister, all the other not real hand traps. So we just go into Shangri, Rise Heart, and we're just banishing anything at this point really. Locking a Pen Zone, and going into a Rise Heart. We're keeping the birth here for follow-up. No reason to commit it, honestly. They out us with Zeus, and birth lets us play a little bit afterwards. So we have the Unicorn here to rip the extra deck, and they summon a Fenrir. Now, they're going to go straight into a Rise Heart here, since we already used our Shangri, and they're going to go into Zeus right away. Before we get a chance to use Unicorn, because they're not using monster effects, and before we get the materials on our Arise Heart to out his monster. So during the battle phase, before he declares the attack, we're going to use the Call by to banish the Maxi. Now, I'm thinking, what's the point of this, right? I was to stop him from making Zeus. So Arise Heart actually has a mandatory effect where each time a card is banished, once per chain, you attach a banished card to this card as material. So by banishing this, we're forcing him to activate here. And now we get to use the Unicorn, and this will rip the Zeus. So here he loses the Zeus play, which means we get the Rise Heart, which is pretty nice. It's gets to just banish his guy, or just keep him under the macro. We're attaching some more here, but my opponent just concedes. I have follow-up, and he can't really out my board fully either. So they just surrender. This was more of the good fundamentals, seeing how our opponent outs our board and playing in a way that prevents them from doing so. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this. It's a little bit of a shorter one, and I wouldn't recommend just copying this deck list or anything, but it's more so about just mashing in a bunch of non-engine into some kind of shell that can work with it well, like the bestials, like the cash cards, Sprite or something, for instance, but it's kind of hit now. And just using fundamentals, thinking about how can your opponent win the game and what's your opponent trying to achieve right now, and then you have to play in a way to prevent that as much as possible. And we have the win condition of just beating them over the head with our 2500 attack bodies. So if we stop them from playing the game, we will just beat over all this stuff anyways and threaten lethal in just a few turns. So that's kind of how you need to play this. Stuff like Zodiac plays in a very similar way as well. Yeah, I hope this helps you guys a little bit. Enjoy.